Here I am at St Bartholomew's, Hartley, in the Diocese of Worcester, and we are here to talk about sustainable church flowers, a movement that started here in this parish. What is sustainable church flowers? Well, it is a rediscovery of beauty. Beauty from beginning to end, from the source to display. So I invite you to come inside with me now as we discover together how we can all make this change towards a more sustainable future. Here I am with Shane Connolly, one of the founding members of Sustainable Church Flowers. We're also with a traditional pedestal, one that you might see in any parish church, producing beauty for God's glory. But it is hiding some dark secrets.
This is February, and these roses are not flowers of February. The lilies are not flowers of February. So that can immediately tell us that these flowers were not grown anywhere near this church. These flowers were grown abroad. Very hard to find out from where. The ones that did have a label on them were the Alstroemeria, and it said grown in Kenya. But what it doesn't tell us is grown under what conditions, in countries where water is scarce, what chemicals were used in the growth and in the transportation. And that's just the beginning, and Jill's going to tell us a bit more about that.
Nearly 90% of the flowers we use in the UK are imported. This is a problem on a number of fronts. One of those is the high carbon footprint that they can bring, both in terms of the transportation. Many of the flowers are flown in when coming from East Africa and South America, but also flowers that are grown out of season often have a high energy use due to being grown under greenhouse glass that is heated. In addition, we've mentioned chemical use, not good for those people who are employed on the flower farms, as well as for the florists and indeed for anyone who comes into contact with those flowers. Quite often people are surprised to find that their weekly shop, if it includes flowers, could actually be the highest carbon footprint in their trolley. These are often in the plastic wraps, and many of us are trying to cut back on our flights and think about the impact we have. Actually thinking through your flower choices can be a good way to cut that down for us personally and of course for our churches as well. That requires us to have a real shift in the industry to using more seasonal and importantly locally grown flowers. So we are fortunate to have Kate Hurst, who is a local flower grower as well as a founding member of the Sustainable Church Flowers movement too. Kate, what advice can you give to people for where they might find more seasonal and local flowers?
So this is February we're talking about here at the moment. It's one of the hardest times of year to get flowers. But you still can use shrubs, and that's what we're encouraging as well, to grow shrubs in perhaps your churchyards if you can. Obviously at this time of year is a good time for your daffodils. These are from a local shop, but of course I've made sure that they are British, look for the labels, and you can also get at this time of year commercially grown British tulips. There's quite a lot of organisations out there that will help you find your local flower grower, of which there's thousands out there, so that you can find them.
And then you can build up relations with those people to ask questions, and the transparency becomes less of an issue. Fabulous, thank you.
And of course, it's not just the flowers themselves, is it, Shane? It's the way they're arranged and what they're arranged in.
If we take the flowers out, they are arranged in this green substance, which is called floral foam. And floral foam is plastic, so we leach those microplastics into the environment, in the water that it's soaked in, when we dispose of it afterwards, and even on the bottom of the stems. Every stem here is covered in microplastics.
And this is where it gets uncomfortable for the church, isn't it? Because the choices that we make, even though we don't mean to do harm, still shape the world outside these walls.
This is the problem.
And here we are with a fully sustainable, local, foam-free arrangement of flowers.
This tells the story of this time of year. You look at this and you think, February, late winter, just spring just beginning, and it's all arranged without any foam in a bucket of water. I mean, it's really as basic as that. And if people say that's too basic, we did a whole coronation using things that were available in the four corners of the kingdom, in Westminster Abbey, in buckets of water.
And it's still beautiful.
And this is achievable. You can use chicken wire, you can use so many other mechanics that are not single use. And the beauty, when you've finished, you literally lift the flowers like that, and the whole thing can go on the compost.
Look at that.
It's going beyond the idea of flowers and into the idea of what we can bring into the church that is natural and part of nature.
It's about faithfulness. It's about bringing what we are to God's presence.
New developments have provided and are starting to provide alternatives to that in terms of different types of foams, things that can be used instead. However, with all of these, they do still have some sort of environmental impact. Most of these are single use, so are thrown away afterwards, with most of them not currently being able to just go into the compost in your churchyard. They would need industrial processing. One of the things that the Sustainable Church Flowers movement have been trying to promote and provide support for are using those more natural and actually, in a way, traditional methods before floral foam came into use as well.
For me, this is deeply theological. The way we decorate God's house is not just for decoration, but to honour the God who made the earth. Worship that harms creation quietly contradicts what we pray. This isn't about stopping doing flowers in church. It's about letting them once more tell the story of the truth about God, about creation, about hope.